Supertag Page is a new feature released in Tana this week. Now when you click on a supertag in your workspace, it will take you to a dedicated page for that supertag. That page will start with a table view, and simply by adding new columns to that table, you will add these directly as new fields to the supertag itself. Now when you use the supertag again anywhere in your workspace, that field will be there and you can add data directly into it. It's a way to customize your supertag quickly without having to access the more advanced configuration menu. The second thing that you can do with Supertag Page is create custom views. Any data you have tagged with the supertag will show up in the Supertag page, and using filters you can set up as many custom views of that data as you want. For example, in one view you might only want to see the times you have used the tag from the last 7 days. Another might be a view that has only a few of your fields displayed from that supertag. You can also access all the different types of data views of Tana, so you could set up a range of custom tables, lists, for example. All of these views are saved within Supertag Page itself, available next time you visit the Supertag page. It makes Supertag Page not only an incredibly easy way to interact with the tag itself, but also a powerful way to get insights from your data quickly. On the surface, it looks like a small addition to the already powerful Supertag, but beneath the surface, I think it reveals a lot about how the team is thinking about making Tana both powerful as well as easy to use. Today we're going to talk to Mats, who is a product engineer on Supertag Page, and he's going to talk us through some of the thinking behind the feature. Hey Mats.
Hey Matt.
Hey, thanks for joining me in the morning in the Oslo office as people start to roll in for their day. I put a few questions together and put it in our workspace, so let's run through them one by one. So first question, what was the problem you were trying to solve?
So one useful question I learned myself during the years of working with products is to ask myself, like, where do we suck the most? And it's an interesting question because you can choose what to work on in many different ways, looking at like numbers from Amplitude or Google Analytics or whatever. You can also look at the backlog, but like from a really high perspective, I like to just ask the question, where do I personally think that we have the biggest room for improvement? And by following some onboarding sessions with completely new users to Tana that have never heard of it before almost and not watched any videos, we saw that setting up super tags, which are super core to Tana, and then rediscovering that content again seemed too difficult for new users. You should be able to do that without reading through the help center. So yeah, that was really the start of the new Supertag page.
Great. And this was a feature that came out of this Easy and Beautiful internal project that you were involved with. Can you talk about the intent of that?
Sure. So we know that Tana is really powerful and that we have lots of users in our community that had success setting up Tana. But at the same time, sometimes I look at Tana and I think that like parts of what we're doing is, for instance, the search expression builder is more of a builder, or I compare it to the Chrome developer tools experience when you open the inspector and when you want to debug and really dive into something to have the full power. And that makes a lot of sense for some users, but for others it either is too complicated or it looks too complicated. So we don't want to alienate new users, especially not at day one. So rebuilding that into something that is even easier and looks like more approachable and easier to start using is something we wanted to tackle in this project. And we saw that the key thing of making Tana click for users was to be able to create your own tag, tag it on your Today page, for instance, and then have it reappear in a search somewhere. So this new Supertag page really tries to go straight to that, both those problems, both by creating your tag and then resurfacing the content again and making that as easy and as fast as possible.
Very nice. Obviously, the power of super tags and live searches is a core part of Tana. And was that the motive for Easy and Beautiful, to kind of unlock the value of those quickly for new users?
So the motivation behind Easy and Beautiful was to have even more users take or unleash the power of Tana. And it was a set of things, really. It wasn't only the super tags. We also looked into making stuff like the table management more easy, to have like more templates or queues for inserting new content and bootstrapping that kind of content, and some of it isn't released yet either. But we have lots of stuff like that in the pipeline, where the underlying goal is to enable you to use more of Tana's power in an easier and more accessible way.
What about existing users who are familiar with the config menu for Supertags? Were they a focus for this easy and beautiful project, or was it exclusively just people who are new to Tana as well?
I think that was what it started as, but I mean, it's really both for new users and also advanced or existing users. What we set up to solve was to make Supertags easier to set up, but and also rediscover content. But we also see that let's say you are deep down in your graph as an experienced Tana users, and suddenly you want to just look up what's our vacation calendar looking like, or what's our Friday show and tell. I want to add something to that, and then previously you had to have a shortcut to that search view in your sidebar, or know where to kind of navigate to get to the search, or just insert a new find nodes where meeting is something and blah blah blah. So but now you can just hit open the search window and search for the tag, and that instantly takes you to the tags Supertags page with your predefined view setup. So we see that, or either just click, you could also click a tag label and get to the same page. So even for experienced users, you could do that, and that's something we have added in that you couldn't do before. And also designing this feature, we didn't want to take any power away from our more experienced users. So there was a design challenge in trying to keep what we had and not remove any power from Tana, but at the same time make it more accessible for more new users.
So for those existing users or power users who are familiar with the config menu, where do they find that, or what's changed for them?
So for experienced users, the only thing that's you need to kind of rewire is the left and right click, because left clicking now takes you to the Supertag page, and right clicking brings up what looks like almost the same popover you got in the previous version of Tana, where you have your navigation targets and the option to configure your tag. So you only really need to remap your right and left click, and you can also, if you want to go straight into the old configuration page, you can hold shift, so command shift, and click on a tag or a Supertag reference, and that would also open straight into the configuration page.
Great to hear that the power is still there for existing users. I think that's a pretty nice overview of Supertag Page, but it also feels like a nice opportunity to talk about Supertags more generally.
Yeah.
We know that Supertags are incredibly powerful in Tana, and one of the big ideas, it releases so much value for people in their workflows. What is a Supertag?
So Supertags in general are a concept that allows you to say what a thing is. So when you're typing notes, let's say you're in a meeting, a lot of stuff comes up that you want to give more identity than just plain text or in a paragraph, right? You might be typing out something that is a to-do item. It could be an ID that popped up, or it could be a new person you got introduced to that you want to have on your contact list. So by tags, you can Supertags, you can say that this thing I'm writing now, this really is a person. It's Matt that I just met, or it's a task to call Matt that I would like to end up in some kind of view or Kanban board or whatever later. So Supertags allows you to, wherever you are in Tana, just quickly say that this is a thing. So it's I guess everyone knows their labeling machine or has had a labeling machine, but think of that also even more powerful is that one, you can say what the thing is, and then second, you can also add additional properties to that. So in a meeting, you could also add properties such as what time is it, who attended, what's the meeting summary, and then you could use those properties or fields, as we call them, across all meetings, both to capture information, but also when you want to kind of filter and dissect them on multiple dimensions. So you could set up a calendar view and then extract the date field from meetings, or you could set up a table view that sorts by creation time to see a kind of meeting log or a task log, and really design the workflows that you want. So that is also a property of Supertags. I think that you could, when you need a workflow in Tana, you probably want a tag, because then you could add, say I have a task and it should have a status that is to do in progress done, that allows you to design some form of process around what the thing is. So I guess being able to say what the thing is and then resurface it wherever you want is kind of the essence of the Supertags. But Olav is really the master of Supertags, and I don't know if I've spoken to him yet. Maybe.
No, let me do that. That's a good idea. Hey, Olav.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, as you know, I was talking to Mats in Thinking Behind the Feature about Supertag Page, and as part of that, we started to talk about Supertags. And when we did, he suggested I should perhaps quickly just talk to you about some of their history and background, why they're important, and what they do for new users in Tana.
Yeah, well, Supertags is at the heart of Tana, and it's one of the most important innovations that we presented when we launched our early access mode. And basically, it's the glue that binds everything together, right? And it's not. One should not think that it's just like a template that is added to a node, or it's something that gives a node or fields or properties. It's the Supertags builds on a long line of innovations, starting with, or actually probably before LNK's, but starting with LNK's work at the Zero Park, when he was working on what eventually led to, I guess, Smalltalk in 1970. So it's kind of like adding a class to an object in object-oriented programming, and you can I've seen a lot of people flying with the Supertags, right? Because it both gives you speed, and it does so that you can actually stay in context and you can work with your content from your daily page or whatever. But it's something that we've just scratched the surface on the power of the Supertag. So basically, it started out really making it easier for people to structure their content. But now you can actually create small apps already just with one Supertag. I just think that's so awesome. Like, I have a persona Supertag I actually created this morning just because I was working with our product team, and basically the Supertag just pulls out the frustrations, the motivations tied to the persona's role, and voila! I spent like 3 minutes and I had a persona app. And you can tie this to issue trackers when you're doing bugs. You can do whatever, but we've just scratched the surface of what a Supertag is actually supposed to deliver within Tana and to our users. And it's basically key to how we're gonna reinvent how humans, teams, and computers work together.
Great. It sounds fundamental, clearly how important Supertags are. What do they allow users to do?
One of the things that I think is key for Tana is to actually understand that the way we do the Supertags and the way we do live searches and stuff, it's kind of like almost having like this programming language for your mind, or programming language for your knowledge. So you can style your knowledge with the Supertag, and you can retrieve it from wherever, whenever, and just being able to just think, type, and tag, and know that everything's captured, everything's flowing to where it's supposed to be. It'll show up. Like you have a meeting each Monday. You don't have to build your agenda half an hour before the meeting. If you have something you want to talk about and you remember it on a Thursday, you should be able to just tag it agenda item. And when you come to the meeting, and this happens actually very often, I'm like, oh yes, I was thinking about this while actually going for a walk, or this was something that I wanted to like. You should be able to just capture everything that you want, and it should just resurface. And that's one of the many strengths of the Supertag, coupled with the live searches, and the Tana graph is actually built to enhance that. together with the Supertags. So yeah, and this is just a start.
Great. What about the kind of the focus on AI that we have, or the power of AI that we have? How does that relate to Supertag?
Yeah. So so I think that when we started out, and Grim built a prototype of Tana, and I remember just calling him and saying, Grim, this is insane. I've never worked this fast and been able to do the deep work that what then was called Noteboat gave me, and we had this thought already then, like from the get-go, that the Tana graph was built for Supertags and vice versa, and both of them are built for AI. But we don't want to create an AI that just help you build sentences or is gonna like think for you. We don't believe in that. We believe in having AI as something that will give you insights, that will do repetitive, mundane work for you. So not like a template where you have to fill out things yourself, but actually have them as applications that do your work so that you can have more time doing work that actually matters, and giving deep work back to people. Like productivity growth has halved since 2005. Book recommendation, A World Without Email by Cal Newport. And we need to get time back, right? So time is our only true currency. And Supertags is a huge part of that within Tana. So yeah, but it's building on everything from what Doug Engelbart talked about when it was the dynamic knowledge repository, to Alan Kay's work at Xerox PARC, and actually also Ted Nelson's thoughts around the graph. So yeah.
All right. I might leave it there. Thank you very much, Olav, for the quick insights into the history and importance of Supertags. I'll get back in with Mats to finish off thinking behind the feature.
Yeah, say hi to Mats.
All right. Thanks, Olav.
Yeah.
Okay, final question, Mats. Let's take a view of the future. What's next for Supertag Page?
Sure. So the Supertag Page now is really in its first version. We have tons of stuff that we scoped out, such as easier configuration, imagining being able to choose your color, and more accessible background images and stuff like that. That probably should reside in the Supertag Page in the future. And then we have features such as search notes, that you can't add the search note using the table configuration right now. And there is a link there to the highly requested community feature on ID's Tana Inc. with bidirectional fields, because we know that many times you want to set up a search node, it's because you have some kind of relationship, the classical book author or something like that. When you view an author, you also want to see the books he or she has written. And if we solve, or when, I guess, we solve bidirectional fields in the future, maybe we want to add that in a different way, using the table configuration that feels more intuitive and doesn't require knowledge of parent-grandparent relationships, and makes that feature as well much more approachable to new users.
Amazing, Mats. That's it. Thank you very much for talking us through the thinking behind the feature of Supertag Page. Very much looking forward to what's to come, and have a good day in Oslo.
Likewise, Matt. Have a great day.